like about it is the commonality and the solidarity that is being promoted. So, for example, the Latina women farm workers, after several of the Hollywood actresses came out last spring, they sent a note of solidarity, and it was in Time magazine, and so that sort of led to the Time's Up, which is a legal, they've set up a legal defense fund, and part of the funding, or a lot of the funding, is supposed to go to women who are particularly vulnerable, and we know the women who are the most vulnerable for sexual harassment and sexual violence in the workplace are women in low-paying jobs, and wouldn't have the economic means to bring upon a lawsuit. And a lot of women that you would think would have the economic means may not, because these lawsuits are so economically draining. So I like that there is attention to intersectionality among women, and I like some of the rhetoric I'm hearing about, even if you are an actress that's getting paid tons of money, you've lived through some of the same experience and same trauma in terms of sexual harassment and humiliation or sexual violence as somebody who's out working on the farms. In as much as, there's a common thread there. And I appreciate that we are seeing a lot of women trying to work together and being more mindful about the intersectionality piece of it than I think other movements have been in the past. I mean, this one is been grounded on intersectionality, and so my hope is that it stays there. I actually was in D.C. last week. Part of that was because I was interviewing people that started Time's Up and work with it's the National Women's Law Center, and some of the people from the Press Forward movement. And so it was really exciting. I left very hopeful, that there could be really some meaningful change now, and I'm really excited that they said many times, the Me Too movement, it's sustained. This time we've got something sustainable, and usually that could get a headline for a week and a half, right? But it's it's continuing. So I think we're at a time in this culture that people are fed up, and they want to talk about it, and they want to make things better. We have to systematically make things better. So I thought that was good, that they're owning that we have a pretty major problem, even on the Hill. And of course, what we know too of the research, it's often your most privileged men that are engaging in such volume. So it's usually, they have sexually harassed lots of women in general. And so we're seeing, the Harry Weinstein, that, his incredible sense of entitlement and his privilege, decades. And, he was working with very privileged women too. That's the, not interesting, but just to show you how these systems work.